I'm submitted to you, Lord. Whatever you want. Like you're the boss. Like you're in charge. You know. And once I do that, then it says resist the devil. And for me personally, in these last couple weeks since I saw that, I started doing it, and what I noticed was
what was that thing you told me the other day about submitting? We were away on a business trip and for work, and we were talking about submitting and
yeah.
Say that, because I think that's really pertinent to what's going on right now and what we're talking about in terms of submission.
Yeah. Generally, it's kind of like the verse. I don't have it in front of me, but the verse that talks about like warfare, and the verse, people say like, oh, when you're getting attacked, right, you resist the devil and he will flee from you. And like, that's the verse, right?
Right.
That is not the verse. I don't know how I saw it. I don't know. I just read it or something. But what I saw when I read through it was that it says, submit to God, comma, and resist the devil, and he will flee from you. And I was like, wait a minute.
Listen to this.
I don't think, I'll just talk for myself, but I don't think, like, I've never thought about the submitting part.
Mm-mm.
I thought about the resisting part, like, right? Like, we're going to go to war, man. We're going to, like, pray, and we're going to, like, cast out the thing and da-da-da-da-da and bind it and, like, the strong man and all these things, dude. But did you submit? And I felt, right. I felt like the Lord was like, everybody's missing it. Because you go right to that warring thing, which
we can do very well. We can get all worked up and just... Right?
Right, which is works also, maybe.
Right.
I'm going to get to the part of me doing something, right? But are you... And so this is what I felt like the Lord said to me. When the warfare is strong, like when you're like, he said, envision yourself coming to me. Like, this is what I see. I see him on the throne, and I see me like getting on my knees before him, like, oh, Lord, I submit to you. Like, I submit to you. Like, I'm on my knees in front of you. You're the king. You're the boss. Like, I'm just your boy. Like, I'm going to get on my knees and submit, right? Like, lay all my stuff down in a posture of, like, on my knees before him. I'm submitted to you, Lord. Whatever you want. Like, you're the boss. Like, you're in charge. And once I do that, then it says resist the devil. And for me personally, in these last couple weeks since I saw that, I started doing it, and what I noticed was I wasn't even really having to resist the devil. Because it just, as soon as I got in that spiritual posture of like, I'm on my knees in front of you, I'm right in front of you, like the things seemed like it would just go away.
Yeah.
And maybe it's proximity.
Yeah.
I'm close to the king, dude.
Yeah.
And the devil can't come there, And sometimes, I would still kind of do some resisting of the devil, which is cool. Like, and sometimes I had to, but more times than not, I was able to just submit. I submit. I lay the thing down and I submit it to you, and I'm just getting in front of you, and yeah, it's been awesome. Try it.
Yeah.
Because once again, it's like I falsely knew the word.
Right.
What does it say about warfare? Resist the devil and he will flee from you. It's like,
does it?
So go get in a fight with,
right,
like all the demons, like all the darkness and all the demons, and like you're gonna like win. Like maybe you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to that battle with the Lord, scratch that. If you're not allowing the Lord to go to battle for you, then you're probably going to get the tar beat out of you.
Yeah.
Remember I was saying about there's that the dude in the Bible who tried to like cast out the demons from the 7 sons of Sceva, right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
And like the demons like beat the tar out of the guy and left him naked, like whipped. And I was like, well, maybe that's what happens to us, when we try to, go against the darkness, dude, in our own flesh.
I'm going to find this. I'm looking something up right now. Keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, look up that verse if just Google it and see that. Check that out for yourself. It says, submit to him, resist the devil and he will flee from you. I think it's a key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, like, this is why I think it's important to take time. Like, there was, like, a lot of years where I would, like, read the Bible in the morning out of, like, religious duty. But I've tried to more recently, like, actually take time to, like, read and, like, not really have a goal of, like, reading a certain amount, but to actually, like, read it and like digest it and like see what it says, and then also just be open, just be like, Lord, like, what do you want to say to me, and show me something new,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm finding it. Bear with me. This is so good.
He's scrolling.
I'm scrolling. Sorry, I'm old.
Well, you're doing it on a phone. You're not like old, like doing it in a Bible.
Okay, so here it is. All right, so here it is. 1 Samuel 17, David and Goliath.
Okay.
We're going to go there. You just got done talking about submitting, right?
Yeah.
And then resisting the enemy.
Yes.
And he'll flee.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Verse 45. 1 Samuel 17, verse 45. Then David said to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you and take your head from you. And this day I will give the carcasses of the camp of the Philistines to the birds of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he couldn't have done that. In all seriousness, he couldn't have done that unless he first submitted to the Lord.
Right.
And then he was able to resist the enemy and conquer.
Yeah.
But his entire attitude, if you know anything about David, was surrender and submitting to him just out of reverence and love.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because, like, the whole story doesn't make sense physically, right?
No.
Like, there's this little kid, and he went to war against this, like, dude who was, like, a warrior, and he beat him with, like, a little tiny rock, right? In the sling. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, so without him being submitted to, like, listening to what the Lord's saying, that's how he conquered that fight. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't through, putting on Saul's armor, right? It wasn't through, like, this big, huge sword. It wasn't through all of the things that all the other guys were saying, which is what we do when we don't submit.
Right.
We go to war, or we try to go to war, or we try to, save, our family or our neighbors or, like, our whatever. Like, we try to do, like, this work with all of our big old fleshly ways of doing it instead of submitting, Right. Like, the Lord literally, if you think about it, the Lord encouraged David to walk out on that field literally with nothing. Because he didn't even have the rocks when he walked out there, right? He picked them up on the way.
Out of a brook, on the way to the battlefield, he picked them up out of a brook.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like Abraham and Isaac and sacrificing. It's like, Abraham told his son, like, the Lord will provide a sacrifice. Right? All the way to the point of him tying him to the altar, dude, and drawing the knife back, dude, and the angel of the Lord having to stop him before he, like, plunged the knife into his son's heart, right?
Yeah.
But it's like he was submitted, but that submission caused him to have so much faith where it's like, dude, we're going to walk this thing out all the way to the 99.9%.
Yeah.
And the Lord will provide a sacrifice.
Yeah. See, I'm hearing something in there. It's like in the flesh, like if you were watching that and you saw Abraham like do all the stuff, dude, tie him down, pull out the knife, pull it back, you would say to yourself, it's too late.
It's too late. He's going to do it.
Yeah. And that's, how many times do we say that in our own life, dude? Like, it's too late. Like, the Lord's not going to come through. Like, he's not going to, it's the 99th, like you said, hour. It's the, whatever, you know, it's the 59th minute, dude, in the hour. And it's like, it's ticking still. And I haven't seen him come through. So we give up. If we're not careful.
Oh, yeah, see, I knew he wasn't going to come through. Oh, yeah, see, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Oh, yeah, see, I knew he was going to fail me. Right? Everybody else has, you know, see, this is par for the course.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 seconds, dude.
Right.
Before the clock ticks over.
Just let it go, man. Just let it go.
Yeah.
You know, like, walk away, you know, with dignity.
Right. Whatever. Dignity's overrated.
Right. No, you know what I'm saying? That's what people say. It's
like
it's
sure.
too late, you know, and those stories are great reminders that, you know, I mean, God, I guess works in the last minute. I wish he wouldn't, but, you know, but, and how do you keep your faith? You know, I think that's what I struggle with all the time. It's like, how do you continue to keep your faith till he comes through?
Yeah.
Without getting discouraged, you know? It's tough. It's tough.
That's why it's important to build that relationship with him. You know, it's so multifaceted. You know, you can be working on so many things at once. You know, not to say it's always going to be a life of working on things, but it seems like we're forever in process. But it's just, you know, to get us to the place that we should be in, to walk in freedom.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we don't realize how much we give ourselves to bondage and slavery.
Yeah.
And we've been freed from it
Yeah.
for all these years.
Yeah. And I guess it's like why we should always be in the Word, right? Because it's full of stories like that.
Yeah.
You know, that God comes through, you know, even when, you know, when things don't look great, you know. I mean, it's actually all throughout the Scripture, right? Like, even like the Israelites coming out of Egypt, like to the Red Sea, I would have been like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? Like, this is dumb. You know, like,
oh, so you're just going to raise the staff with the bronze serpent on it and everybody's going to get healed, right? Woo!
Yeah.
Right? Sorry.
Oh, right? Yeah.
No, but seriously, like, yeah, and that's how we look at stuff.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like the first guy who's going to get struck by lightning, right? Like that's not a good idea. Like,
you're going to do what?
Whose idea was that? God's like, oh, it was mine. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have some explaining to do.
Are you sure about that? Because from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like it makes any sense at all.
Oh, man. Yeah. Again, it goes back to that thing. We're supposed to be believers.
Yeah.
And that is more troubling than most would let on. You know, we're supposed to be believers. And how do you maintain it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You read the word and let it slay you every day.
Yeah.
You let it cut you so deep that you think you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he fixes it.
Yeah, you just keep believing until it comes true.
Yeah.
Right? Keep trusting. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. You know, it's so funny. I woke up this morning and that song is so funny. Unless you were born and raised in the church like we were, you might not know this song. But you know that song, it's a hymn, Trust and Obey.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was like, it's so weird how the Lord will put things in your head, you know, I guess. Like, that's how it works, man. I woke up. I haven't thought about that song in 20 years, 30 years, you know, and it's just like trust and obey. For there's no other way to be happy in Jesus than to trust and obey. And oh man. I mean, it says it right there. You can't be happy without trust and obedience.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So if we're struggling in our lives to find happiness or whatever, if we're not trusting him, we're not going to find it. And if we're not obeying him, we're not going to find it.
Right.
Which sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I'm not happy, so I'm going to go find happiness.
Yeah, we're an impatient people. We have the drive-through lifestyle for everything.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want it the way I want it, and I want it quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to be said, for the slow burn, waiting in the awkward silence. Nobody likes the silence.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the silence. But I think that's some of where he does most of his work is in the silence. That if you could discipline yourself enough in the waiting, that he actually gets more accomplished in that time.
Yeah.
When you don't realize he's even doing anything or don't even feel like he's ever doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a topic for another time that we could talk about, because it's like, what do you do when you feel like he's not even listening to you and he's not answering you and you can't feel his presence?
Yeah.
But not today.
Right. Not today. I don't think I told this story on the podcast, and then we'll wrap, but I don't think so. I didn't tell the story about going up to the mountains and sitting by the river today.
No, I think he just told me about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was a few weeks ago. I was just having a moment, and so I called you, and you were like, "Dude, go for a drive, bro. You're tripping right now." Like, you said, "Get in your car, go get a Diet Coke, and go drive for a little bit." And I was like, "That should be in the Bible."
That's
like
stupid, boy. That's stupid advice, right?
What kind of advice is that? You moral.
I told you I wanted help.
Oh man. And it actually turned out pretty good. I kind of like, I got my Diet Coke. I went for a drive. I drove up kind of into the mountains, and there's like a little river, which is pretty rare by us in Southern California. And I kind of walked out to the river, and I sat there, and and I felt like the Lord was like, "Close your eyes for 5 minutes." And I was like, "All right." And I realized really quickly that it's hard to be in silence and in quietness and to like quiet your soul for even 5 minutes,
right,
in this world that we live in, especially when you're going through stuff and you're stressed and there's just like a lot of drama.
Yeah.
I literally set the timer on my phone because I was like, and it was like, it seemed like eternity. And it was really funny because I was sitting there, like, I was kind of in the mountains, and I was like, I'm probably going to sit here and like a wild animal is going to come up and eat me. Like, I'm thinking of all these stupid things, right? Reasons why like I can't sit here. Or like a person's going to come along and see me and being like, what's this idiot doing here, right?
I said sit in silence.
Right. So anyways, sat there for about 5 minutes and just kind of whatever, sat there. And then after that I sat there for like another 5 minutes. I felt like the Lord was just like, just watch the water go by. Like, we don't need to talk about, just watch the water go by. Right. And I sat there and I thought, after 5 minutes, I thought, you know what's insane? Like, where does all this water come from? It never stops running. And I was like, that's like a miracle. I mean, I understand like it snows and the whole water circle thing from elementary school. Like, I understand that, but it's still pretty stinking amazing.
Yeah.
That I can sit here and there's essentially this endless flow of water, coming by. And I felt like the Lord was like, that's me. Like, there is more than enough of me, of my grace, of my love, of me flowing through your life, there is enough, and it is a continual like river that's like coming and cleansing you, and just like, you know, of love, like for you. And I just heard him say like, I got more than enough, you know, and it's not going to stop. And really ministered to me, because I felt like I was like in a moment of like, you're not enough. I'm not getting enough. I need something. And it was crazy, man. Like a week later, I was in a tough situation, and I saw like in my mind, like I saw it like that water like flowing, you know, like into the scene I was in. You know what I mean? And he's
good.
like, I have more than enough for you. I have more than enough. Like I'm not, you know, I just have more than enough. And he just kept saying that to me, and he does, you know. He has more than enough for all of us, you know, in all of our situations. And so when, you know, when we're struggling, or when you're like tripping out this week, or about to have a meltdown or something, you know.
Yeah. Go sit by a river.
Yeah, or just remember the story and just go like, he is more than enough.
Yeah.
And he has more than enough. Like it's not going to dry up. Like his provision, his love, you know.
Yeah.
What he's doing in our life. He has a continual flow. Yeah.
Yeah.